Children, kitchen, church. This is how German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck defined the role of the German woman in the distant 70s of the 19th century. In 1934, he was supported by Hitler, who stated that the whole world for a woman is her family, children, home, and faith. Up to a certain point, this was indeed the case. While the German army ruled the territory of Europe, women dutifully waited for their husbands at home. They were busy with children, household chores, and charity work. But the outbreak of war with the Soviet Union showed that German husbands would not be coming home anytime soon. There was conscription after conscription in Germany. There was a catastrophic shortage of men, and women began to replace them. One of the first to show itself was the military construction organization TOT. Conscription was introduced in Germany. Women were conscripted voluntarily and forced to do the work previously done by men. Many were sent to prisoner of war camps where women were expected to fulfill the role of guards and overseers. They went there with pleasure. They were attracted by the money, the life, the opportunity to make a career in stealing valuables from prisoners. In January 1943, girls and women from 17 to 45 years old began to be officially called up for service. They worked in defense factories, in fire departments, and in the air defense system. The stronger and tougher ones were sent to the front to serve as telephonists, communicators, or clerks at headquarters. There were even women tankers and anti-aircraft gunners, eliminating fires and rescuing residents from dangerous areas, extinguishing incendiary bombs, providing air surveillance, warning, and communication. Such actions after a short time became for domestic girls habitual and commonplace. There were no indulgences for German women. Discipline and order were strict, and they were asked as strictly as men. For cowardice and negligence, they were shot on the spot. According to official data, about 50,000 women served directly at the fronts. There were also volunteers who themselves asked to be sent to the occupied territories. Most likely, these were the very same exemplary housewives who, when at liberty, took great pleasure in showing power and expressing aggression against civilians. These women fiercely identified the unreliable and took part in the execution of innocent people. Other women chose a different way to help their beloved Germany. They did not work as laborers, did not serve at the front, but produced new babies. They did it to order, to increase the pure-blooded population of the Third Reich. Such girls quickly realized that away from the front, in warmth and full state and medical support, their life would be much sweeter. German propaganda about the superior Aryan race was so strong and significant that custom births were perceived by the public as something absolutely normal. Women of lower status did not hesitate to provide certain kinds of favors to German soldiers and officers. They followed the troops, made themselves comfortable and cozy in the occupied territories, and gladly welcomed their fellow citizens. In this way, they showed patriotism and served in such a peculiar way for the benefit of the motherland. There was another peaceful category of women who served the great Germany not at the front, but in the captured lands. Some Germans the Führer distinguished especially and gifted them with lands in the occupied territories. The conviction of the Nazi leader in quick victory was so great that he sent women to organize land farming in some areas of the Soviet Union. They took on the task with German pedantry, employing the local population, and soon achieved success. These were the roles German women played during World War II, and after it ended, no one called them back to church, the kitchen, or the children. Adolf Hitler, in his criminal doctrine of racial superiority, gave the German people the place of gods. But in order to ascend to Olympus, Germany had to work hard, and from birth, a German was waiting for a whole system of maturation of an Aryan, scheduled by hours. It was called Blut und Erde, blood and earth. Its essence is that there is no personal life and one's own future, but there is Germany and the nation as one organism, where every German lives not for himself, but for the fatherland. Women had a special role to play. The Nazis forbade them to work at hard labor, serve in the army, and study at universities, at least until 1943, when the Nazis became not too fat. German posters and movies stimulated the German woman's purpose in life. German women must take care of themselves because in the doctrine of Blut und Erde, they were incubators, machines for producing children of the Aryan race. Motherhood in Nazi Germany was elevated to a cult. Mothers were equated with national heroes of the Third Reich. The poster, "I gave a soldier to the Fuhrer," hung in every German girl's bedroom from the age of 13. This demeaning female role of so was twisted by Nazism into a perverse form of exploit, and prolific German women wore their medals around their necks. The German Mother's Cross in bronze for those who gave birth to 4 children, the Silver Cross for those who gave birth to 6 children, and the Gold Cross for 9 or more. There was no future for the child. All the efforts of the mother were directed to the education of a good soldier or a new incubator. And even the painting of Germany showed ruddy blondes in the right family. At annual meetings with German mothers, Hitler taught them how to raise their children. "I want from you a brutal and fearless boy. He must endure pain. There must be nothing gentle in him. The strong German predator must be seen in his eyes. This is how I will eradicate 10,000 years of human domestication. This is how I will create the new order." As part of this noble task, the Nazis abolished the very principle of biblical sin. No longer shame and love. Minister Speer, along with master Aryan artist Leni Riefenstahl, created the program Lebensborn, the source of life, where under the beautiful name of the two creative people hid a real godsend. In Germany, beautiful meeting houses were built where, according to party orders, SS members dropped by in the evening. And on the other side, carefully selected and trained German women were waiting for them, under the programs Tall Girls and Beauty. This was the genetic production of Übermensch, superhuman. The best women from the German elite, sports, art, and the most beautiful were selected there. But don't think of the women of Nazi Germany as victims. The power of propaganda was so ingrained in their brains that they were happy to live only this way, to give themselves to the Nazis. German women were fanatically devoted to Hitler and shared his delusions, supporting him to the very end with their love letters. And when the men died on the fronts of World War II, German women went into the army, hospitals, and concentration camps. Huge numbers of women worked for the German Red Cross, where they became famous for putting to death the disabled, the terminally ill, and the insane as part of the Nazi program of euthanasia, purging the race of weak elements. After the war, we learn about the dreaded angels of death, the Germans who worked in the concentration camps, and 6 executed after the war for cruelty and crimes, a total of 3,500 guards at Auschwitz and Ravensbrück. We learn about the German women of the SS Einsatzgruppen in Russia, who put cold lemonade on the table for the executioners to refresh themselves and take a break. Such is the fate of women in a country that did not stop the Nazis when it was still possible.